Vallejo, California, December 20th, 1968. It's just past 10 p.m., and a car sits parked on a quiet turnout road on the edge of town, its engine ticking as it cools in the winter air. Inside, two teenagers, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, are talking, unaware that another set of headlights has just pulled in behind them. The second car sits there in the darkness for a long moment, close enough to notice, too close to ignore. Neither teenager moves, unsure of what's happening. Then a door opens. Faraday steps out, maybe to explain they were already leaving, maybe simply startled by the sudden light flooding the car. A single gunshot rings out. He collapses before he can say a word. Jensen bursts from the passenger seat and runs for the open road. She only makes it a short distance before 5 bullets strike her in the back. The gunman doesn't chase her. He doesn't rush. He simply turns around, gets back into his car, and disappears into the night. He leaves behind no motive, no suspect, and no reason anyone can understand. For 7 months, the murders appear to be nothing more than another unsolved tragedy. Then the phone rings. Just after midnight in August 1969, the Vallejo Police Department receives a call. "I want to report a double murder." The caller calmly gives the exact location of another attack before hanging up. Days later, 3 newspapers received nearly identical letters, each containing part of a coded message. At the bottom is a strange symbol, a circle with a cross through it. The writer signs every letter the same way, the Zodiac. More than 50 years later, that symbol remains one of the most chilling signatures in criminal history. On July 4th, 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were sitting inside a parked car at Blue Rock Springs Park, only a few miles from the first murders. A vehicle pulled in behind them. The driver approached with a flashlight, making the couple believe he was a police officer. Instead, he opened fire. Mageau survived despite multiple gunshot wounds. Ferrin did not. Less than an hour later came the phone call. The caller not only confessed to the attack, but also claimed responsibility for the murders of Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday. This wasn't someone trying to escape justice. He wanted the world to know his name. 3 weeks later, handwritten letters arrived at the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. Each contained one section of a 408 symbol cipher. The writer demanded the newspapers publish his message on their front pages, or he would continue killing. They agreed. Within days, a California schoolteacher and his wife solved the cipher using only pencil and paper. There was no hidden identity. Instead, the message described how killing gave him more excitement than anything else, and claimed his victims would become his slaves in the afterlife. It wasn't a confession. It was another taunt. That would become the pattern of the Zodiac case. Every clue promised answers, only to lead investigators back to another dead end. In September 1969, the killer struck again. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were relaxing beside Lake Berryessa when a man wearing a black executioner's hood approached them. On the hood was the same cross-circle symbol from the letters. After tying them up, he stabbed both victims repeatedly. Before leaving, he walked to their car and wrote the dates of his previous attacks on the door, almost like he was signing his work. Hartnell survived. Shepard later died from her injuries. Just 1 month later, the Zodiac committed his final confirmed murder. San Francisco cab driver Paul Stine picked up a passenger. Minutes later, he was shot in the head. The killer tore away a piece of Stine's blood-stained shirt before calmly walking down the street. Witnesses saw him. Police searching nearby even passed a man matching the killer's appearance. But because dispatch mistakenly broadcast the wrong suspect description, officers let him walk away. It remains one of the biggest missed opportunities in American criminal history. Although the murders stopped, the letters continued. The Zodiac mailed more messages, often including pieces of Paul Stine's shirt to prove he was the real killer. He mocked police, claimed dozens of additional victims, and mailed new ciphers that challenged anyone to identify him. None revealed his name. Then, almost as suddenly as they began, the letters stopped. No arrest was ever made. Investigators examined countless suspects. Arthur Lee Allen became the most famous, but DNA never conclusively linked him to the crimes. Other suspects, including Richard Gaykowski and later Gary Francis Post, also failed to produce definitive proof. The FBI still considers the case unsolved. Then, in 2020, more than 50 years after it was mailed, an international team of codebreakers finally solved the infamous 340-character cipher. Once again, there was no confession. No identity. Only another message mocking those trying to catch him and claiming he wasn't afraid of death. After half a century of searching, investigators received one final taunt instead of the answer they'd been waiting for. Was the Zodiac one of the men police investigated but could never prove guilty? Was he someone whose name never appeared in the files at all? Or did someone recognize exactly who he was and choose to remain silent? More than 5 decades later, the cross-circle symbol still has no confirmed owner. And until undeniable evidence finally emerges, the Zodiac Killer remains exactly what he wanted to be: unknown, unnamed, and never caught.